if you look on the screen now, you can see this sort of groove, this long sort of straight line. It looks like something scraped out of the surface of the moon. These are quite common features on the moon's surface. They're called rilles, and they appear as long snaking groove-like structures which can run for several kilometres. Rilles are thought to have formed from drained lava tunnels whose roof has collapsed. Okay, so we'll probably see quite a few. So obviously now we're looking at a crater, but as we go round the crater, you can see it's sort of created this sort of ridges around it, but also you might be able to see a few rilles as we go around as well. In fact, if you've got the top left corner, there looks to be like there's a rill there, doesn't there? Okay, and perhaps another one right at the top of the screen, just disappearing. Okay, so that's rilles. Now we're looking at this massive crater in the middle. Now nearly all craters on the surface of the moon were created by impacts. That wasn't generally known until quite recently, but we've got some nice pictures coming up of actually an asteroid crashing into the moon's surface and creating a new crater. Did you see that there? And in slow motion, that's the impact. This is in 2013. It happened on March the 17th, and in 2013. And you can see the crater that created. And that was just from a 40 kilogram object, let's say a year 7 or 8 student, being projected onto the surface of the moon at a speed of about 90,000 kilometers per hour. And it only created a crater that was 18 meters across. So that was the March 17th, 2013 impact. And you can get footage of that on YouTube. Right, so now that we've looked at craters, we should probably start thinking of leaving. But oh, there's a nice rill there. Do you see that rill for the top left-hand side? And we can see quite a few new, in fact I can see 3 on the left-hand side of the screen, crater impacts, which look relatively new. Now, because there's no water or atmosphere on the moon, of course, to speak of, there is no real erosion. So when something happens, it can if you leave a footprint, for example, they'll tend to stay for many thousands of years. Right, so now it's time to travel, and we're going in look of some wrinkle ridges. Now, what are wrinkle ridges? Well, they're the equivalent of hills on Earth. So it was Galileo who first showed, back in the 17th century, about 1609, people thought the moon was perfectly spherical, and he is the one that saw the mountains and hills, these wrinkle ridges, on the surface of the moon. And they can be several hundred meters high and thousands of kilometers long. So a good one we expect to know throughout GCSE is the Apennine mountain range, which form a range of hills and mountains that are extremely long. Wrinkle ridges, they formed as the moon's outer crust cooled and expanded. Okay. So a relevant fact, but to our wrinkle ridges, that's almost the cause of the first traffic accident on the surface of the moon, because during the Apollo 15 mission, astronauts used a lunar rover to explore the surface of the moon, and most notably the Hadley Rill, which you might want to go looking for, the Hadley Rill. And while surveying the rill, astronauts almost collided with it. They came with a whisker of having the first car crash on the moon's surface, which would have been quite odd. There's so much traffic. Okay, so you might want to look that up. The Hadley Rill, Apollo 15, and the Lunar Rover.